Whoo! All right.
Holy moly.
About that shed life. Close her up now.
There we go.
All right, y'all. So you're going to want to tap in for this one. We started off in the barber shop, just giving you a little bit more of an authentic vibe of just, the day-to-day life. Got a little clean up the half crisp, as you can see here. Then we kind of flow out into the nature preserve. And today is all about really building off the last lesson and starting to give you a little bit more of a practical structure of how you can start to integrate like what your perfect week looks like, and tapping into the 4 doctors, a little bit of a preface there. And then Johnny taps into, just his experience with nature and his message of just get the fuck out in nature, y'all.
It's a very powerful one. You are not going to want to miss this. And yes, as you just said, get out in nature. And I hope by the end of this video, you will be very inspired to get out in nature. And right now we're in the barber shop. Whose barber shop? My barber shop. A little thing you might not know about me is I've been cutting hair for 6 years now. I don't cut hair anymore as I've kind of evolved into the main mission, but this was a very important step in my journey, in my process. And we're just going to kind of give a little overview of the shop, some details of the nature vibes, little Canadian geese up there, some ducks up there. I've kind of cleaned it as it was a lot more in here, but I kind of just kept it simple. And cutting hair for me, before we really get into this video, because there's a lot into this video, was very important in my journey, because not only did it really help me to kind of be my own boss and live life on my own terms, but I learned so much in just the connections and the relations. And what you're about to see right here is just an authentic conversation with Nathan, and then we're going to unfold into really what this video is about. We got the authentic mic right here.
There it is.
The shop. This
shop
was
mic.
John's main kind of scene. Growing up, used to give some beams, but we've evolved kind of past that. But
Some beams.
some beams. That's a
That barber talk.
yeah, beam. Damn, that boy got beamed up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Oh, that's a beam, boy. Damn, John, you beat me. Yeah, well,
Okay.
not as much, but
Okay, I feel
It was
yeah.
there.
It's crazy how you got the lingo, because I the same shit when I'm lifting. It's like, well, I kind of feel like I have my own little language. Like, I'm about to smack that hoe.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Whatever just comes out in the moment.
yeah.
It's kind of just what it is.
Screw. There it is,
All we
y'all.
need. All right, time for the next layer of this video.
Let's keep tapping in. So as you'll notice, we are in this environment here, just to give you a little foreshadowing of what's to come. And, just being mindful of who are you hanging out with, who are you spending your time with, what kind of environment are you hanging around, because all of that is going to be a reflection of, and ultimately be a big influence on how you're able to navigate all these other areas of your life that we're getting into. Because really, Force for Nature, what we're really trying to dial into is being able to optimize your environment so that you can optimize yourself. Because it's all, it's just a mirror. It's all a reflection of one another. So it's a little bit of foreshadowing, but we're going to see you on the other side, y'all.
Tap in. All right, y'all, we're out here now in the preserve. As it was just a rainstorm. Just trying to connect to our location where we're going to sit and flow. Oh, it was a drought about 2 weeks ago, and now
Luscious.
it's lush. All right, we're going to find our location and tap in, y'all.
There we are. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
We are in the heart of the preserve,
The nature
just
preserve.
connecting with nature. We just had the nice downpour still. It's coming down after a long drought season. So really just want to just get right into it today. Last lesson, if you're following along here, last lesson we were a little bit more in your face of like, yo, just it's time to wake up. It's time to step up. And if you really kind of took that message, what we want to do today is give you more of a foundation, kind of, scope out just a little bit and help you to implement, like, okay, what does a week actually look like? Like, okay, I'm ready to step up. I'm ready to do it. What is the first step? Like, what does it actually look like practically? Okay. And being that this is Force for Nature, also connecting that to the environment, because we talked about, if in the barbershop footage there, just the people you're surrounding yourself with, the types of environment you're surrounding yourself with, how even if you just got a little apartment space or whatever that situation looks like for you. I mean, hell, even like just getting a little plant, just all these little things of slowly just connecting. I mean, hell, your message, what you speak so loudly and just making so known in your work of just connect with nature. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. So what you got to do, and we'll keep this super simple. So there's like 3 main concepts, and then Johnny, kind of like we can just kind of roll back and forth here. So the first one is the concept, and I learned this from Paul Chek. So if you haven't heard of him, go study him or just go look him up. He's a like super deep dude that gets into all this type of shit. But it's I before we always, okay? Which basically, if you think of like 3 circles each inside of one another. So you got your little circle, bigger circle, bigger circle. The middle circle is your I. So it's like everything that you're doing to take care of yourself. And then the circle outside of that is we. It's you and another. It's your relationships that you have. And then the circle outside of that is all. So it's like all of it. It's whether that's your whole community, whether that's the whole world, whether that's the whole entire universe. However big you want that all to be, it's really, you know, at a basic level, it's 2 or more people turns into the all, okay? So the whole point of the circles is to the point that you, to the extent that you can help other people is going to be dependent on how you're taking care of yourself. If you feel, you know, like us, like you know that you're here to do something big, maybe you don't know exactly what that is, but you're like, I know there's a bigger purpose for my life. There's something I'm here to do. In order for you to really be able to step into that role, you have to take care of yourself first. And again, a lot of that, it's going to be what you're actually doing for yourself, but then also how that relates to the environment that you're in. I think maybe you can just share a little bit, kind of going through your process with how you set up the Preserve, or, you know, just your experience, and then how you feel like that's helped you with just your own personal development.
No, absolutely. It's obviously so important. You know, when you just said that taking care of yourself every single day, which then unfolds into all of us, that is a direct reflection of nature too. And if you're someone that doesn't really know where to start, how to start, but you want that connection, and why it's so important is when you get out in nature and you just begin appreciating nature, appreciating the life that is around you, this real appreciation for yourself, but also this grounding energy of appreciation that you will feel within yourself is so important. So I think the first step of what we need to do is wherever you live, like you said, if you're in an apartment, if you're in a neighborhood, get very familiar. Is there any spots around me where there's nature? Is there a local park? Do I have a tree in my backyard? Like, first, just begin getting out in nature with an intention to just appreciate. You don't need to go into deep depth and be like, what are the invasive plants? What are the native plants? That's the next step we're going to get into. But the first step is just get outside and try and appreciate nature every single day. Whether that's 5 minutes in the morning with your coffee, don't just be around outside, like be a little conscious, like what birds am I seeing? What birds am I hearing? Hey, is that a blue jay? Like be a little detailed, because when you just bring that energy to be present in nature, to be aware of nature, to try and appreciate nature, watch how it unfolds into this grounded, present moment appreciation energy that just expands naturally. And then when you do that, and then all of a sudden if you're a homeowner, and now all of a sudden, you know, if you're in a suburban neighborhood and there's really no true nature around you, what I'd recommend is first just search, hey, what are the native plants to where I'm at? I'm in Indiana. Search, hey, what are native plants in Indiana? And then all of a sudden search native nursery, native locally to me. Go out and just plant and buy and then plant a native plant, and I promise you that is going to unfold the most beautiful journey that is going to change everything. Because when you start really taking care of the land, you start appreciating the land, you start understanding the land, it only is a direct reflection of you taking care of yourself, connecting to yourself, which then unfolds into taking care and being and giving more to everybody else.
Awesome. And that segues perfectly into the concept. I introduced this last time, if you remember, in the conclusion, just very briefly, I talked about the 4 doctors. So you got Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Movement, and Dr. Happiness. Now they're called doctors because, in a sense, if you really optimize and like pay attention to each one of those different areas, again, Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Movement, Dr. Happiness, it's kind of like 4 legs on a chair. But if you really pay attention to those, like quite honestly, your chances of having to go to an actual doctor outside of, you know, you got hit by a car and you need your leg sewn back on is pretty low. Because again, like all of this, what we're trying to do, you know, in restoring the health of nature, ultimately just restoring the health of ourselves. And by definition, sickness does not exist in a healthy body. So much of, you know, this is a little bit of a tangent, but whatever, like so much of our medical system and like the establishment is all geared towards just getting people not sick. But there's a big difference between just being not sick and actually being healthy. Okay, because again, being healthy is like, disease does not exist. Whereas, just like feeling okay and just not having symptoms doesn't necessarily mean, just because you're not experiencing it doesn't necessarily mean that there couldn't be something that's like actually starting to, like a cancer. Like a lot of times people have cancer, they don't know it for years down the road, and actually it takes years to develop. And the same thing with nature. It's like you can not notice that there's this invasive species that, may start as one little plant, and then before you know it, like next season, it takes over the whole thing. So what we're ultimately trying to do is like pay attention and optimize these areas intentionally, internally and externally. And when it comes to what you're saying about just connecting with nature, so when you look at the 4 different doctors, again, I'm gonna say them again: Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Movement, Dr. Happy. You can look at your week, and this is one of the exercises that I personally go through on a regular basis, and that I take, people that I do more personal work with through, is you kind of look at a week. So you can literally get a piece of paper, number it 1, 2, 3, or like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just every day of the week. And then start with usually Dr. Quiet's easy to start with, but basically you're going to go with each one of those doctors, and you're going to kind of start to map out your week. When am I going to bed? And again, like, we're not just waiting for life to happen to us. We are being intentional. Same thing. We're not just waiting for nature to just like show up in our face. We're actively and intentionally taking time, scheduling it in the same way that, like, a doctor's appointment or something that's very important. Like, hell, you might have to schedule an appointment 2 months in advance, but it's important to you, or like your job, it's important to you. So you schedule it in. It's like, no, I got to show up at this time. I got to be here. If I got to call to get a babysitter, if I got to make different arrangements, I'm going to make this happen. Like, these 4 doctors, they need to be non-negotiable. Because again, it's not that they're just going to, you're just going to wake up tomorrow and your whole life's going to be in shambles. But it's like this: if you don't care for these different areas, one day, just like when you gain 50 pounds, you don't just wake up one day and you're 50 pounds heavier. You literally have to watch yourself over a longer period of time, get to that place where you're finally like, no, enough is enough. But you don't have to wait to get to that point if you don't want to. That's why kind of this whole point of this is being proactive. So when are you choosing to go to bed? When are you choosing to wake up? Schedule it in. Again, it's not always going to be ideal, but right now we're going to get a framework. As we continue along, we'll help you dial this in more and more and more, but you just need to get an idea of a general, I call it the perfect week. What's your perfect week look like? Okay, so Dr. Diet, most of that's like when you're going to bed, when you're waking up, when are you going to do your nature? This could include your nature time. So like what time, in the morning and before I go to bed, am I going to, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there? What does that look like? Get clear on it. Again, don't just wait for it to happen to you. And then Dr. Diet. So when are you choosing to eat your meals? When are you choosing to go to the store? When are you choosing to do some kind of meal prep? Again, don't just hope that it happens. Plan for it. And then Dr. Happy, again, nature could be involved in that. What is happy making for you? And again, this could be like anything. If you enjoy, and this is why, like, there's not like good or bad things. Like, if you enjoy watching your show or you enjoy playing a video game, if that's like what brings a sense of happiness to you, do it. Just do it mindfully. If you enjoy betting on sports games, just do it mindfully, okay? And schedule it in. Because then it's like it's all part of that structure of the perfect week. And then lastly, Dr. Movement. Again, like, when are you choosing to move your body? And you might have like a more rigid program if you're like an athlete, but also just your day-to-day. Like, again, nature. Like, go out and walk. Like, all of these things, you can start to find ways to combine all of these things. Hell, if you plant a garden, go out in nature, and you're getting your food, and you're doing some walking. Like, you can be creative, but the biggest thing is just be intentional. Okay, I'm gonna give you the 4 doctors one more time, and then we're gonna roll it over to Johnny here. Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Movement, Dr. Happy. Build your perfect week and just start to structure general times in. Okay, just get an idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get an idea, and we'll keep building on.
And just to roll with everything you said from a more perspective of maybe the person who's watching this is. Look, in my own life, there's where my weeks get all out of control and there isn't that foundation, but right now I've been building that foundation. And when I tell you, I know you're hearing this, like, oh, okay, really is that big of a deal waking up at the same time? Really is it that big of a deal going to bed at this time? But when you just do it, when you do it and you have a clarity on what you're trying to do, just what naturally happens is things just build. Once you say yes to that time and you get up at that time, you say yes to yourself and you honor what you said you were going to do, once you do that for a week, now the things that before you did that you want to do that just seemed scary and you couldn't do it, you have this more confidence, this more courage and integrity in yourself to just take that action. It is really important to just do the little things, because the little things add up to the big things, and to really just roll with it, because I was bringing the nature energy of what we need to do. Is I'm not going to say you should get out in nature every single morning. You need to get out in nature every single morning. We are nature. We've been so removed from nature and we are living in such an unnatural way. So to get back to the natural way of being a human in this ecosystem is so important. And then what unfolds out of that is then you then wake up to your true role in the ecosystem, which is now this fire, this responsibility, this belonging that will change your life. It'll change the planet. It's what has to happen right now. And I'm just so grateful that what I've done here, as it's changed my life, I've changed the landscape here to be alive, to be abundant, and I get to walk outside every single day and to see an ecosystem at work, alive, to feel the nature thanking me while I'm thanking the nature. Is such a beautiful relationship to have that we all have to have. Thank you, Brother Nathan, for what you said, for what we're flowing. We are trying, y'all. We are here speaking this message on earth that is so needed right now. I hope you can feel it, and I'm just grateful.
Yes, sir. Just keep tapping in. We're here. Like you said, we're doing our best. We're doing what we feel is in line with who we are and our purpose and our genius. And really, I mean, I feel like you can resonate as just ultimately trying to inspire that within you. It's going to look different for everyone. Yeah. We're all different. We all have different gifts. We all have a different expression of our genius, but ultimately just recognizing that it is here. Genius isn't something you go out and get in a book, or you go to a weekend workshop, or you study, or it's not something you get out there. It's something that is already here. A tree has the genius to go from a seed to a tree. It doesn't need an instruction manual. A bird has the genius to, when it's time to jump out of the nest and learn how to fly when it's never flown before, never been taught how to fly. That genius, that same intelligence that grows a baby inside of a woman's body without her consciously having to think about it, the same intelligence that is beating your heart right now without you consciously having to think about it, is right here, right now. So much of it is just getting out of your own way to allow what is coming through. And that's a lot of the work that we're doing, is just trying to give you little pointers, little structure, so that you can ultimately find that flow.
Thank you, Nature Preserve. That speaks to the heart, y'all. I hope you really connected with this video. And Nathan, I know there's some things you want to direct them to and kind of what's coming, because there's some great things coming.
Yeah, we got a lot of good things in the work. First and foremost, just keep tapping in to these videos.
We're so grateful.
Like, we're really just trying to give you as much value as we possibly can. But we want to, if you're kind of ready to take the next step, or you're wondering what that next step is, to ultimately just experience more of what we're doing, what we're building, and what we ultimately want to invite you towards. Just be on the lookout. We're going to be beginning to host some different live and virtual workshops and events, really starting to, let Johnny's genius flow through of, how do you restore an ecosystem that's been overtaken by invasive plants? How do you really kind of go through this process step by step and create this structure for your life that includes being of service to nature, which is ultimately, as we know now, being of service to ourselves. So just want to, just push that out there, start to plant the seed. Either way, just keep tapping into these videos. We're not holding anything back here. As you can tell, we want to give you as much as we possibly can. And we look forward to hearing your feedback as well. Any like different areas or any questions that you guys have, we would love to kind of tap into that and continue to grow this community, because we see y'all.
Yeah,
we see y'all.
We're grateful. We're here. And let's keep building this thing together.
Peace.
Blessings, y'all.